Welcome to another edition of Secrets from the Ancient Past. Sometimes one of the roads from the lands of the Bible is so obvious we tend to miss its existence altogether. And the road we're going to look at today, the ancient path, it was so big and it had such a huge part to play in the Bible's story. It's a classic case of a secret hidden in plain sight. Ancient Israel was a superhighway for international travel. This tiny strip of land was a land bridge between three continents: Africa, Europe, and Asia. Shipping goods across the ocean was very risky in those days. In fact, in recent years, several wrecks from the ancient world have been discovered with modern technology on the ocean floor near Italy, Greece, Egypt, and Israel. So the safest way to move goods in the ancient world was across land. Of course, travel through the great deserts of the Middle East was nearly impossible. So if you're going to transport goods over ground, you've got to make sure the animals carrying those goods will have just as much water as they need, just as you're going to need water. Israel, with water, was in the perfect position for an international highway connecting three continents. Ancient road builders faced the same challenge as modern-day road builders. They wanted to avoid the mountains and the difficult crossings over water as much as possible. And that made the coastal plain of Israel a natural choice for roads. Even today, you'll find Israel's airports and superhighways plentiful on that flat coastal plain. Several ancient cities like Gezer stood guard over this key road in the ancient world. While the coastal plain isn't very wide, in fact only about 14 miles at this point, in the north of Israel, a row of mountains nearly blocked the path completely. The Gilboa Mountains blocked the eastern side of the land, while the Carmel Mountains stopped all caravans on the west. The best opportunity for the most heavily traveled road, the one going north and south, to get through these mountains was at the Megiddo Pass. Only 150 feet wide, this pass must have seen constant use by people from Egypt, southern Europe, and Asia. Now, if a ruler could control this pass with a large army, he could, in a way, control the whole world. He could grow extremely wealthy by enforcing treaties and charging tolls and taxes the way Solomon did. The opportunity to capitalize on such wealth, power, and influence was the very reason every empire wanted to control this land. During biblical times, the Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, and the Romans all conquered this land, each empire intent on controlling the land bridge that connected these three continents. When Jesus grew up in Nazareth, he had a front row seat to all this international travel. All Jesus had to do was take a short walk to the edge of his village, out to the precipice. He could see people from multiple nations because the roads from Egypt, Asia, and Europe came to a crowded intersection in this Jezreel Valley, and Nazareth had a clear view of all the traffic. Now here's the lesson for us, the one that's hidden in plain sight. God did not put his people in such a key location to dominate the world. God put them there to influence the world. From the very beginning, Abram, or Abraham as we know him, had been called to live in this land so he would be a blessing to all people. It's the same idea Jesus had when he claimed to be the light of the world, and when he told his followers that they too were to be the light of the world. And the land, as it had been since the days of Abraham, the land was still center stage for those earliest followers of Jesus. As they met people from distant lands, they told them about Jesus. And when persecution drove those followers to new communities, well, they told their new neighbors about Jesus. The roads, the paths, those ancient paths, gave the followers of Jesus the opportunity to do exactly what God had wanted his people to do all along. They were finally being a blessing to all nations. They were spreading light in a very dark culture. You and I have the same opportunity to do what they did. Just share the good news about Jesus with everyone you meet. As you travel, tell others about what Jesus means to you. Do this, and you'll be doing your part to be a light for all the world. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Cook.